Hey, how the heck are you doing? I am D.W. Wanberg, and this is DW's show for the 20th of February in the year of 2012. And yeah, how the heck are you doing? I think I already asked that, but and it's not like you're going to answer anyway, but it's like a rhetorical, conversational thing. Like this is some sort of a conversational thing to the folks out there, even though it's just one way or no way. But anyway, what do we got going today? Well, I got lots of clips. Well, not lots of clips, but in terms of time, it's I got 17 minutes of clips, which leaves me with 12 and a half minutes of talking, which is a lot less than I usually do. But anyway, and what are those 17 minutes of clips? Well, last week, if you tuned in last week, I was running my annual, pretty much annual now, show about the snow sculpting competition in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. The United States National Snow Sculpting Competition. So this ain't no rinky-dink competition. These are the best folks in the country at snow carving, and snow carving is kind of a ephemeral art. It's especially in warm weather, which it was when that happened. It was earlier in the week. It was in the 50s, and then the last full day of sculpting, it got up to about 35. But the good thing of it was that it wasn't sunny, and the sun beaten down. Even when the temperature's below freezing, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, even if the temperature is below freezing, the sun beaten down still starts to melt it. But so it was cloudy the last day of the last full day of sculpting, and then Saturday the tools down at 11 a.m. and about 2 o'clock, I think they awarded the prizes, or told who won. But anyway, that's last week's show. So on Saturday the 11th, I shot some stuff at the Capitol. It was a rally on the Capitol steps, on the State Street steps, commemorating a year since the protests began, and there were some good speakers there. Mahlon Mitchell of the Professional Foo Fighters of Wisconsin. No, I'd like to correct that. I think that would be the Professional Firefighters of Wisconsin. And he's a great speaker and has spoke at many rallies before, and I've featured him on my show many times, speaking at those rallies. After that, John Nichols spoke, and he is a writer for the Cap Times and the Nation, and just has a new book out about the uprising. I think it's called The Uprising, and then there's a title after that. But and then Peter Bread, or Peter Barca. He is the minority leader of the Wisconsin State Assembly, and he gave a good speech too. I did not put any of the three speeches in full. They're excerpts. So anyway, and after that, it was really cold, and there was a suggestion to go in the Capitol, and I took that suggestion mainly to warm up, but I shot some stuff in there afterwards, and you'll see that. And there was a wedding going on there. Some folks had decided to get married at the Capitol, and there's just a couple shots of that at the end. But anyway, so that's the clips for today, and you say, I really want to watch those snow sculpting clips, but I don't know how. I've missed it. Well, you can go to youtube.com and search for this name. That would be me, D.W. Wanberg, without any periods or spaces or lines or anything like that. Just search that on youtube.com, and you'll come up with some 63 different uploads that I've had, and at least the last one, if you're going there soon, will be of the snow sculpting exhibition. Snow sculpting, the United States National Snow Sculpting Competition in Lake Geneva, which was like the 1st through the 4th, and yeah, again, it was pretty warm, and they were collapsing, but I got them all before any collapsed. And one, I guess, from Alaska, I got that, and had just turned around, was shooting some other ones, turned around and saw it had collapsed, so I got that one just in time. But anyway, and if you don't have the cable, well, how are you watching? Well, you could be watching on wyou.org, and you just go to wyou.org, and you can see whatever wonderful programming WYOU is putting out at that moment. You just go to it, and it's a big wood grain TV set with a play button on it, and you just push your little mouse on the play button, and you just press that, and you'll be watching WYOU programming streaming out over the internet there. So anyway, I gotta get to that pretty soon, but got to get to the clips pretty soon. So anyway, so these are the clips. Why don't I go there right now, so I will be sure to get them on. Again, first starting with Mahlon Mitchell of the Professional Firefighters of Wisconsin. And after that would be John Nichols of The Nation and of the Cap Times and of many books. And the third speaker would be Representative Peter Barca from Kenosha, and he is the minority leader of the Wisconsin State Assembly. So let's go to those clips right now, starting with Mahlon Mitchell.
Education. Over $1 billion taken away from K-12 public education. And 30% cut in tech colleges. And let's not even talk about the UW system, how they're going to survive with all these cuts. But they say education is important. The child labor law being weakened. If you're under the age of 18 years old, you can work more hours and more days per week in the state of Wisconsin. And study less, of course. Voter ID. Voter registration, they call it. Voter registration, I like to call it voter suppression. So Jim Crow law is coming back again. And I can go on and on and on. I got more tweets than that, but we only have so much time. But our Legislative Fiscal Bureau estimated that over the next 10 years, we will have $2.3 billion in massive tax cuts to corporations and the top 1% of wealth in our state. Well, they say we need shared sacrifice, and our state is broke. To me, it seems that shared sacrifice is that we sacrifice and they share the wealth. They don't want to talk about the real problem. Deregulation of banking, Wall Street. We have to stand up, though. We have to stand up and make our voices heard like MLK did back in the day. And we have we have to stand up to what I like to call the pornography of power. We need to have an unshakable spirit towards the fight of jobs and justice. We need to choose community over chaos and continue to work with and for our fellow man and woman. We need a foreign policy that is not based on war, but is based on diplomacy. Labor needs to get back into communities and build coalitions that can never be broken again. Build coalition between faith, union, and community that can never be broken again, because the people are down right now, but we are not out. This is a fight they wanted. This is a fight they started. But if it's a fight they want, it's a fight they're going to get. And in the spirit of Dr. King, I'm talking about a peaceful fight, a fight where we bring everything to the table. Like my mom used to say back in the day, money, marbles, and chalk, everything it takes to play, and we will prevail. Everything, like they did 48 years ago with the March on Washington, MLK's Day. A wise man once said, a cure to ills of democracy is more democracy. So I don't care whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. We need to vote the people in that care about middle class issues and care about bringing our community together. Because this is about justice. This is about history. And I guarantee you, when this is all said and done, we will be on the right side of justice and the right side of history. Because we have an obligation, we have a mandate, no, we have a mission to speak up and out against, get on our feet, because right now people are hurting. Dr. King said it best, our lives begin to end when we become silent about the things that matter. We need jobs, we need justice, and we need a society that is just for all to succeed. I see it as our calling, no, I see it as our duty for civil rights, labor rights, and American politics to join together to make this a better place for all, not just a select few. We have the ability to accomplish it, and our state has the ability to provide it. Solidarity, brothers and sisters, I love you all. Show me what democracy looks like.
Louis Brandeis said, Wisconsin is America's laboratory of democracy. That this is the state that shows the rest of the republic how to do things right. That is what Scott Walker attacked. Scott Walker, when he was sworn in, and he just announced this recently, not in Wisconsin, but on a trip to Arizona, a fundraising trip, Scott Walker announced that when he was sworn in last year, he broke the Wisconsin tradition of being sworn in front of the statue, the bust of Robert M. La Follette, because he did not want to associate his governorship with the word progressive and with Wisconsin's progressive tradition. And he said, he's down in Arizona talking to all the wealthy contributors. He said, oh, I moved my inaugural over to the other side. I moved it over by the Constitution, the framed Constitution of the state of Wisconsin. And nobody in Arizona knew. Nobody understood, and I even myself sort of regret to tell my old friend Scott this. But the Constitution that he stood in front of when he was sworn in trying to avoid La Follette, that Constitution contains the amendment that Robert M. La Follette put into it that allows us to recall every vote of governor, of senate, of basic principles of our recall, 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 recall. My goodness, that's music to my ears. Now, our governor has chosen not to join us on this day. You know, Governor Walker's been a busy traveler of late. He just flew down to Florida to do a big fundraising event this week. And I thought to myself, how very appropriate. Thomas Paine, the author of American Revolution. Thomas Paine said that in the difficult times in a republic, there would be sunshine patriots. Those who headed off to Florida in winter. But the people who would save the republic, the people who would make America what it needed to be, would be the winter soldiers, those who stood in the cold in a place like Wisconsin. her soldiers that Payne imagined. You are the people who are not going to merely redeem Wisconsin. You're going to send a signal out from this state that goes across the entire United States. There will be people in Florida and in Arizona and in Pennsylvania and in Ohio, across this country, who will say, we thought we were beaten down, we thought we couldn't do it, and then we looked to that North Star of Wisconsin, and they showed us it is possible to recall and remove even the most totalitarian of leaders, even the most wealth-drenched of leaders, even the most coked up of leaders, and replace them with true democratic servants of the people. It is cold today, and you've got other great speakers, but I will just tell you this. You have done Robert M. La Follette proud over this last year. La Follette said that democracy is a life, and the people of this movement have lived that life with glory and with strength and with an inspirational power that has caused everyone in this country to talk about Wisconsin no longer as a state, but as a symbol of what the people can do, even in the most difficult of times. We named our daughter Whitman after the poet Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman said, I give the password primeval. I give the sign of democracy. That was his American promise. And I will tell you that for the last year, Wisconsin has given America and the world the sign of democracy. And we will do so this year with a power that will be heard in every capital, not just in this country, but around the planet. There will be people who thought it was not possible. And we will say anything is possible. It is possible for the people to rule. In fact, it is necessary for the people to rule so that we will no longer suffer the poverty of economics and the poverty of ideals that is imposed on us by those who would say we must share sacrifice. We do not need to share sacrifice. We need to hold those who took so much from us to account. And we need to return power to those who will share it equally with all and who will give us in Wisconsin and in this nation the economic and social justice that is the progressive promise of Wisconsin 100 years ago and today. I am so proud of you. I am so in line with you. Solidarity! 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 Keep it up! Keep it up! Keep it up!
John Nichols, everybody.
Please welcome Representative Peter Barca. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, fellow Badgers, for being here today. 1 year later. 1 year stronger. 1 year stronger. You know, Governor Walker predicted that eventually we would come to accept his changes. He thought in 6 days he could ram through the first of his many progressive changes. He thought in 6 weeks he could ensconce these radical right-wing changes. He thought in 6 months we would forget. Governor Walker, not in 60 years will we forget. And that's why, repeat after me, Governor Walker, it's time for you to go. It is fitting that we're here today on this crispy February day because there were so many
crisp days throughout February and March, where tens of thousands of our fellow Badgers circled this Capitol, stood outside the doors of democracy, demanding to be let in, and then eventually stood on street corners to get petitions signed, and never in Governor Walker's wildest dreams could he have imagined that 1 million plus citizens are telling him, Governor Walker, it's time for you to go. Can you imagine? He wanted to make it so you couldn't pass out flyers on the Capitol Square without a permit. Never in America did I think a public official would go to that extreme. And that's why, Governor Walker, it's time for you to go. And what's exciting to me as we move forward with 1 million plus citizens, Wisconsin Badgers, our brethren, that in only 60 days signed these petitions. Imagine what might have happened if we had 90 days, or 120 days as they have in some states. But you know, we have a lot of goals in front of us. And the road ahead will not be easy, as the last year has not been. We're going to have to fight hard, communicate strongly, be back on the streets, because the first goal is to help Governor Walker to take that well-needed retirement in one of those right-wing think tanks he appears before so often. The second goal is to restore our rights, to restore Wisconsin values. And then the third step is to usher in a new era of progressive values and a progressive approach that stands up and puts citizens first in this state. We want to move forward with an agenda that brings the best of our heritage together with the best of modern values. We want to empower workers. We want to reward workers and challenge workers and enrich workers. That's the Wisconsin way. We want to bring forward green energy solutions that can help to power our plants and our homes. We want to bring the best of research from the bench to the bedside of patients, from the laboratories to the manufacturing floors. We want to move Wisconsin forward, to take the brilliance of our university system and empower it, not reduce its budget. We want to make sure that this once again is a state with a proud Badger heritage, of the people, by the people, for the people. Let's stay at the front of the parade, all of you. We'll go back to Wisconsin's future, which is bright and shining. And Governor Walker, it's time for you to go. Thank you all.
there you go. Hope you liked those clips. What did we just see? That was a rally from the 11th of February, put on by Wisconsin Wave. That was Ben Mansky, you saw, introducing Peter Barca, and before Peter Barca was John Nichols, and before that, the first speaker was Mahlon Mitchell of the Professional Firefighters of Wisconsin. And good speeches there, and of course, after the speeches, went into the Capitol to get warm. Standing there shooting that, I was very cold. My feet were cold. You know, my hands were cold. I was wearing gloves. I've come up with wearing jersey gloves, which are these thin little cotton gloves, but I can operate cameras with these thin little gloves on, and it's much better than barehanded. And I'll usually stick on my other gloves for a while to get my hands warm. But it was a cold day. We haven't had that many cold days this winter, have we? But that was a little bit cold and windy. Yeah, you could hear some wind noise. Some of the stuff I cut out had a lot more wind noise than that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed those clips. What about the recall? It just came out where the recall petitions were being looked at by the workers from the Government Accountability Board, and that's the big state building over in Thornton Street, right by the Yahara River, and right by the bike path, right by Mickey's, and near the Ace Hardware there, I was riding the river, the bike path near the river, and I met up with somebody that said, "What are all the cops doing there?" And I didn't know. This was a couple weeks ago, and that's why they were there, because the recall petitions. There were Fitzgerald, I guess, is challenging a lot of the signatures, because the legislature is just gerrymandered, changed the voting districts, and a lot of the people were from the old district, but that's what the GAB said, that you could get people from the old district, not the new district. But anyway, that brings our show to a close, and I'd like to thank you for watching. And I'm looking for my stuff that I put over the deal. But anyway, adios, so long, farewell, and I got to take the escape slide out of here.